tc-helicon Singers Clubhouse. Gear, effects, tips and tricks. Your complete vocal experience. Oh, and Tom and Craig. Good day, sir.
Hello, Craig. How are you?
I am well, thank you very much.
You've been working on your house, I understand?
I have. I bought a house, my first house. So I have been spending, thank you, 18-hour days, between work and painting till midnight, trying to nick it up a little bit before we move in. So.
And you have a young child as well.
I have a young
child
child
as well. So life is full, I'd say.
Life is very full, but we move on Saturday and we're woefully unprepared for that. So
Great.
It'll be good. Although we've gone to the high-speed internet of grown-up, like once you go to high-speed internet, you can't go back to dial-up.
Okay.
Once you go to movers, you cannot go back to friends and pizza and beer. So
good, then I don't have to loan you my pickup truck.
Exactly. So we've gone to movers, and I will be sitting watching blissfully as somebody lifts my heavy couch and stuff for me. So
well, that's great. So what have we got for the folks today?
Today I thought I would do Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. And I'm going to use a VoiceLive 3 Extreme. I kind of had a few tricks that I thought I would show about the way I set it up. I used to play in a 3-piece for ages. So for me, doing a cover was less of a sort of like the tribute version of a cover where you're trying to nail exactly every little bit, and more of a sort of, how am I going to pull this off by myself? So I kind of treated this Chasing Cars with exactly the same approach. What can I do to kind of emulate some bits and pieces of the tracks, and then what can I do to kind of bring some stuff in and out? So let's go down to our product camera. Hold on, where is it there? Whoop, there we go. So we're on Falafel right now, which is a
you're
preset
probably not going to, that's not the preset you wanted to call it, is it?
No, none of you can have the Falafel preset.
Okay, no, we're not giving that one out. Yeah. By the way, Snow Patrol is one of the users that used to use our product.
That's right.
They did a tour with Voice Doubler, I think it was.
Yeah.
I went and saw them, and man, they were fantastic live.
Cool. So I've snuck in a backing track here of just some drums, just kind of for fun, so when it kicks in that I'll be able to do some drums. And that kind of leads to a question somebody asked on the forums last week. They said, if I have a drum track that's just going to kick in, right? So for example,
after you play guitar, you mean?
Yeah, like so if you want to like do like an intro.
An intro, yeah.
How the heck do I know what tempo to be at? And I was thinking about it. I said, oh geez, how are we going to do that? And I thought, if I remap tap tempo to the step button down here, at the very least, I can see it. So I can be pretty darn close to what the track is going to be on the way in. You may not be 100%, and we'll probably show that it won't be 100%, but you can get pretty darn close, and you can get pretty good at working with it. So that was the first thing I did, was set that up that way.
There's nothing worse than having the intro go, do-no-no-no-no-no, and the band coming in,
exactly. So at least you'll be within a beat or two,
vibe.
which is great.
Okay.
So in the intro of the song, they've got what sounded to me like a couple of sort of synth-type organ pads that are hiding behind an electric guitar that's very clean. And I thought, well, if I don't have a keyboard player and I don't have a second guitar player, I'm going to add a bit of trem to this guitar sound so that I can kind of emulate that warble that's in there.
That's tremolo for those of you at home.
Tremolo, yeah. So I ended up with this. So
I'm convinced. Yeah.
And I think that gets pretty close to the sound of the beginning of the song, even though it's only one instrument.
And it makes it interesting too, because a dead dry guitar is not as interesting.
Exactly. The vocals themselves are very straightforward. They're very dry for most of it, so there's barely any reverb on it. But there is a third up harmony and maybe a little snuck in other one kind of later on. So I put a low harmony mixed fairly low into the mix as well. But the tricks I did on this, I'm using a Switch 3 to do things with my feet, but I would normally just be using the unit. It's just up here so you can see it. I've added a vocal hit, so that's going to bring in my harmonies in and out when I need them. But I've also added a guitar hit because they have this kind of crunchy guitar, so it goes from that clean thing to like a...
Yeah, you got some nice red LEDs there. I love that. That's rock and roll.
We're doing what we tell people
and
not to.
And by the way,
right?
you see the two hits?
Yeah.
One has a mic beside it, one has a guitar beside it, so you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So we know that I've got these two, and I need to use them separately. I can't use hit all in this state because I don't want the harmonies to just stay on when the crunchy guitar comes on. So that's why I kept them separate. But I did remap guitar hit to that top level because then there's no other need for me to go into the guitar layer.
And you didn't have to build
forth.
steps.
No, I'm just using one preset. I've got two states of each thing, and then that's
kind of cool because you can improvise too if you wanted to play around with it. And let's go around one more time. And this time I want the guitar clean, but I want the vocals to stay on or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, so I could drop out the
cool.
That would actually be a good example.
I prefer it that way.
In the bridge, they kind of break it down to a thing where they sort of, they have some harmony still, but it's basically just the guy back on that again. And then I have the track, the start and stop, assigned to a switch 3 as well there, and I'm going to try and nail that when we go through the song. So I'm going to play a little bit of the intro so you can get a sense of how it sounds together, and then we'll kind of just do a little bit of a fast forward because they have a fairly long intro. Yeah, exactly. All right. Now, don't bore us, get to the chorus, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and watch that light there. Here we go.
We'll do it all, everything on our own.
So that's going to be that intro part that we play through. Now we're going to get to the chorus, which is the second part. So I'm going to be pretending like I'm coming out of the second verse, and we're going to kick into the part where the guitar comes in as well.
Do the drums come in yet?
The drums come in at the end of this, yes.
At the end of that?
At the end of this.
Okay.
At the end of this next stage. So I'm going to, again, I'm going to watch my light. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's your good time.
Sorry, man.
So then it goes.
Those 3 words are said too much, but not enough. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Show me a garden that's bursting into light. All that I am, all that I ever was, is here in your perfect eyes. There are